Has anybody here ever been to a Trailer Park Queen show? Well, then you know that there is a nasty rumor going around that I am the Trailer Park Queen. I am not the Trailer Park Queen. Juanita LaRue is the Trailer Park Queen. That's right. Juanita is my guardian angel. She's standing right here next to me. You probably can't see her.
I can.
Well, then you will know that Juanita is the worst guardian angel that ever lived. One of the reasons a lot of people can't see her is because she dresses very inappropriately. She's just following me right now. I tell her to go away, but she won't do it. She's standing here next to me. She's about this tall. She looks a lot like me, but she's taller than me.
Oh, yeah.
She wears cut-off jeans that come up over her butt like this. Fishnets, cowboy hat, and a t-shirt. And so this story tonight is called Juanita Goes to College. So we're going to start off with a little song. Rob, could I get some music? Thank you. Is an elusive set, but royal just the same. They live in places like Needles or Barstow, the outer perimeters of Las Vegas. Juanita LaRue is what you might call royalty in exile. She's got star quality. She's the kind of girl you'd expect to see on the Jerry Springer Show. Yeah! We grew up together in Imperial Beach, California. Yeah! We filmed a fascinating hour in the slough, harassing wetbacks and eating taquitos. Writing "fuck you" on people's garage doors. Was a fabulous childhood. But we grew apart, and things changed as things do, and Juanita chose the excitement and glamour of a well-known motorcycle club. She married a recent parolee in an entry-level position. Of course, everybody knows by now that I stayed behind and graduated with honors from the North Park Academy of Naga High. So summer I remember with great fondness. But that would be the summer that Juanita's little brother, Romeo, and I had a hot and torrid romance. Romeo was 12, and I was 27. It was the perfect combination of adolescence and experience. I'll never forget how cute he used to look, skateboarding down the sidewalk, his long blonde hair flying in the summer wind, his flannel shirt flapping. He used to wait all day long for me in front of the 7-Eleven, holding 2 large cherry lime Slurpees. And I'd walk back and forth in front of him, back and forth, and I'd pretend like I didn't see him at all. Long about dusk, I'd walk flat smack in front of his face. I'd give him a little wink. Now I'd walk in the store, start trying to make my decision for the evening. Vodka, tequila, tequila, or vodka. Vodka, tequila, tequila, or wine. Vodka, tequila, tequila, or vodka. Vodka, tequila, tequila, or wine. Heard that's on the radio. to do, baby. We'll get tequila and Dos Equis too. You kiss me and I'll kiss you. I'll kiss you if you kiss me. I like the way you kiss when you get sloppy, baby. Won't take nothing, not nothing. Won't take nothing but the radio button. We'll build a tank with dreams, I'll fly across the tracks. I'll wrap my arms around you, we ain't never coming back. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Remember when we were in love? Our love was so severe. You got me all vodka and down to just beer. I think I could have made it if I hadn't gotten on gin. You're my favorite lover, baby. You're my best friend. We were in love. We should have gotten married. I'm a 3-time loser. I go for. I got a case of wine to take us all the way to Memphis. Forget your wife and kids, honey. We're not coming back. Drinking with me. How about I said, baby, I'm gonna quit after 3. I don't seem to get so fucked up when I go drinking with you. I got way back on the cocaine and I quit sniffing glue. Get me up in your Belvedere. Hurry up, honey, get me out of here. We'll fill the tank with dreams and fly across the tracks. I'll wrap my arms around you, we ain't never coming back. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Smell like a brewery, look like a tramp. She ain't got a quarter, got a postage stamp. 5 o'clock, sandboxing all around the town. Talking with the old men, sleeping on the ground. Cause then a good now, cold. Share my apartment with a telephone pole. Wear fishnet stockings, spike heel shoes, strip tees, break tees, cork tees, blues. There's a woman, foursome, live nude girl, dreamy and creamy and brunette girl. There's Chesty Morgan, a watermelon rose, raised by rent and don't blow your nose. Well, thank you very much. Okay, so tonight's story is Juanita Goes to College. Now the truth is, neither Juanita nor I ever did go to college. So this story is a lie right from the beginning. But we did end up in college, even though we didn't go to college, and I'm going to tell you how that happened. To tell this story properly, I'm going to have to go all the way back to 3rd grade. Emory Elementary School in Imperial Beach, California. Juanita and I were sitting in the backyard. We were very bored. There was me, Juanita, and my little dog, Timmy. Now, Timmy was an unusual dog. He was a mutt. I found him living underneath our house. He was half starved when I found him. He was the strangest looking little guy. And I took him in. And I forced my parents to let me keep him. He had mange, he had fleas, he was a terrible looking guy. He even had a tattoo on his back leg. We didn't know if he'd escaped from a prison camp or maybe he was a biker dog. We didn't know, but he did have a tattoo. That part of the story is true. Anyway, Timmy didn't like anybody but me. I'm the only person he liked. And he bit quite a few people. If anybody even looked at me, he would bite him. So I had to keep him on a leash most of the time. So anyway, me, Timmy, and Juanita were sitting in our backyard. And we overheard our neighbors talking about me. And this neighbor was named Captain Boyer. Captain Boyer and his wife, Melba. They were perfect. They were immaculate. They were clean. They were tidy. They were smart. And they were talking about my family, me and my dog. And they were saying, what about those people next door? Those people are what I would call ignorant. They're ignorant, their kids are ignorant, even their dog is ignorant. Those are some ignorant motherfuckers next door. I was looking at Juanita, she was looking at me, and I said, you know what, they can't talk about us like that, Juanita. She goes, I've got a great idea. Let's go get some of those big, fat magic markers, the really, really black ones, and let's write, fuck you, on their garage door. So we did. We wrote it really, really big. F-U-C-K-Y-O-U. And we colored it in really, really, really black so you can see it for miles.
That's right.
Then we went home and we had bologna sandwiches. Well, after a while, Captain and Melba Boyer showed up at our door. When I opened the door, Captain Boyer didn't have a chance to say anything. Timmy laid into him and took a chunk the size of Texas right out of his leg. Before I knew it, the fire department was there. They'd thrown a blanket over Timmy. They'd taken Timmy away, and I never saw Timmy again. I was devastated. Timmy and Juanita were my only friends. You can imagine. I had a guardian angel for a friend that nobody else could see, and a little strange dog that would attack anybody that even looked at me. And that was my life. I was a little different, even in the 3rd grade. And I was crying and crying and crying in my bedroom. And I was sobbing and sobbing, and I finally put a towel over my face. I was crying so hard. And I said, it's your fault, Juanita. You're the one who told us to write fuck you on Captain Boyer's garage door. And now they've taken Timmy away. And Juanita just looked at the floor, and she said, let's turn on the rock and roll radio station and just listen to some music. See if that might make you feel better. So she turned on the radio station, and there was a song on there. It was Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground. And Lou Reed was singing just to me. It was as if by magic. He was singing, I must be dumb, 'cause I ain't smart. All I know's I got a rock and roll heart. And I turned off the radio and I said, Juanita, I must be dumb, 'cause I'm not smart. All I know is I've got a rock and roll heart. And my rock and roll heart is breaking right now, because I miss miss my dog so much. Oh, Juanita said, why don't you write a song about it? And that's when I found out that I'm a songwriter. And this is the first song I ever wrote. It's about my dog, Timmy. I guard the gate that holds the light against the hammer of the gods. Everything is not all right. It is my job to beat the odds. He's been dead for 30 nights. I still like talking to my dog because he bites and gets in fights. I'll guard the night for him. I guard the gate that holds the light where angels sleep, not dogs at night. Please be home before the dark because you are not grown. You may stay beneath the day 1 hour before the truth strikes night. Because you bite and get in fights, I'll guard the night for you. He's not such a bad dog. He's been down this road before. He is just a little sad dog. He's the one that I adore. Small dogs still sneak out at night. They need the ground where dead dogs fight. They need the sound of people who don't tell them what to do. I guard the gate that holds the light. You don't want in there anyway. Because you're wild and still a child with lots of spit and fits to throw. You walk dead dogs, you talk to saints. Those ghosts will bring you back again. Because you bite and get in fights, I'll guard the night for you. Because you bite and get in fights, I'll guard the night for you. And then I knew there was something I could do. I might be ignorant. I might be dumb. But I sure as hell don't want to be like Captain and Melba Boyer. I don't like those people. They're smart. They're a little too smart for their own good, in my opinion. So I told Juanita. I said, Juanita, all I want to do is grow up, get to be 16 years old, get out of school, join a rock and roll band, and sing in dark bars with drunk people for the rest of my life. And so that's exactly what we did. And that brings us up to the present moment. For the next 30 years, Juanita and I traveled around and we sang in bars for drunk people. And it was a lifestyle that we liked. So one day we were laying there on the couch. Juanita was watching CNN and I was having a cup of coffee. And Juanita was watching TV and she said, say, Teresa, did you know that there are so many homeless schools in the United States now that they build schools and schools and schools all over this country just for homeless children? And I said, no, Juanita, I didn't know that. She said, well, they do. They're talking about it on CNN. And these schools don't have hardly any money. And they need things like sports and art for these kids because they don't have any of that stuff for them. I said, huh. But she kept looking at me. And I said, what are you looking at me for, Juanita? And she said, well, you're an artist. You could go down to one of those homeless schools and you could teach an art class. I said, well, they don't want people like me. I mean, they want real people for that stuff. You know, like normal people. Well, she said they didn't say anything about wanting real people or normal people. They just said they want people who are artists and can teach art classes. you should go down there and volunteer a little bit of your time. And I said, well, I'm not going to do that one. I have no desire whatsoever to go down to a homeless school and volunteer my time as an artist. Anyway, I'm not really even an artist. I'm just a singer, and I don't even know how I sing songs or write songs, and I'm not the kind of person they're looking for. She said, it doesn't matter if you're the right person or the person they're looking for. You need to go down there and pitch in and help out a little bit. So I did. I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I made that decision. I don't know how I ended up in that homeless school, but I'll tell you, the next thing I knew, I was standing on the corner of 13th and Market, right in the middle of things. Right in the middle of Father Joe's and Detox and the Salvation Army, 1111 Island Street, and I'm looking for a school. I don't see anything around there that looks like a school. All I see is this burnt-out storefront next to a wino hotel. And then there's this little tiny sign that says, no loitering, public school. So I opened the door, and sure enough, there's about 30 kids sitting in there and a teacher. And I said, I saw on the news that you guys might need a volunteer artist, and I'm a singer and a songwriter. Next thing I know, the teacher's got me in front of the class. She says, class, this is our new music teacher. What I'm doing. Those kids did not have the reaction that you just had. They just sat there and glared at me. And there's nothing more embarrassing than announcing yourself as a music teacher and having 30 Mexican kids glare at you. So I looked at them, they looked at me, and the teacher immediately excused herself and went to lunch. So I said, well, I'm a singer and a songwriter. My name is TERESA Gunn. I am a singer and a songwriter, and I can write a song anywhere, anytime, about anything. They still just sat there and glared at me. So let's get out our papers and our pencils, and let's start writing about some of the stuff that comes to our minds, and maybe we can think of something to write a song about today. And then when I said that, this girl named Pauline stood up. She was much taller than me. She walked over to the pencil sharpener. She sharpened her pencil, and she walked back over to me and aimed her pencil right at my forehead. And she said, I ain't gonna do this fucking shit. I said, well, that's fine. Pauline was actually more like, that's fine, Pauline. I said, please just sit down, and if you really feel you can't do it, then you should just say something like, thank you for coming, but I prefer not to participate. And when I said that, Pauline picked up her desk and threw it across the room. And then she walked back over to me and she said, I'm tired of doing stupid shit. And I said, well, no one enjoys doing stupid shit, Pauline. I myself don't enjoy doing stupid shit. And I'm sure no one here wants to do stupid shit. And I'm trying to just help you all to write a song. All I want to know is what you want. What are your interests in life? What kind of dreams do you have? What do you want? And Pauline looked at me and she said, you want to know what I want? I want somebody to love me. And then she sat down. And I said, well, then that is going to be the topic of our song. I want somebody to love me. And then I asked them to introduce themselves and tell me a little bit about themselves. And there was Angel on the end. And Angel was 15. And he had made his way across the border 7 times. And he told me about that. About coming all by himself, trying to find a better life. because when he returned to help his family, he wanted to return an educated man. And then there was Robert. Robert's mother had died when he was 9. He began to live in the back of a garage. His uncle let him detail cars. That's how he made his living. And he found his way into this school, hoping to be able to graduate. Then we got to Pauline. And Pauline said, yeah, I want somebody to love me. She said, the last memory I have of my mother is standing in front of a judge. And she said, I was 4 years old. And I heard the judge ask my mother 3 times, are you sure you want to give up all rights to this child? And I heard my mother say 3 times, yes. And then I saw my mother walk out of the courtroom. And that's why I live in a shelter today. And then there was Fernando. And Fernando said, it ain't no secret. We've built a lot of walls. And then there was Alma. And Alma said, I want a family of my own. I want a husband. And I want a pretty little house with flowers. And I want my husband to kiss me on the cheek. And when he kisses me, I want it to feel like the flutter of wings. And then it came back to Pauline, and she said, and I want to be married too, and I want to have a house, and I want my husband to wake me up in the middle of the night, and I want him to say, dance with me. And then they all began to talk about what they wanted. And Fernando said, love can kill, and I'm afraid to love, but love is a beautiful thing. And I said, you know what? We have enough right now for a song. This is plenty. This is good stuff. And then Robert said, we should have a name. We should call ourselves the Poets of Prayer. And he said, the music to our song should sound like a choir of angels. It should be soft and beautiful. It should be pretty. And I said, all right. Then just hum a little melody. And I'm going to organize the words that you've been talking about here. I'm going to organize them into a poem. And when you organize thoughts and words into a poem, and you put a melody to it, that's a song. And that's all there is to it. And the best songs in the world come from the place where you just spoke from the heart, from an honest heart. And I said, so just hum for a minute. Hum this. Rob, can I have a little bit of music? And this is the song that we wrote that day in the homeless school on 13th and Market. Your kisses like the flutter of wings, and like the stars call deeply. Your kisses like the flutter of wings. Love can kill, but it's a beautiful thing. So please be nice, kind to keep the one I cherish with all my love. Please be nice, kind to keep all the possibilities could ever mean love. It ain't no secret, I've built a lot of walls. It ain't no secret, I want somebody to love me. The person who would satisfy me, he would give all of me, accomplish my dream. The person who would satisfy me, wakes me up at night and tells me dance with me. Honey, please be nice, mind to keep, the one I cherish with all my love. Honey, please be nice, mind to keep, all the possibilities could ever mean love. It ain't no secret, I have built a lot of walls. It ain't no secret, I want somebody to love me. Congratulating myself for doing a good job. And the teacher came back from lunch. And she said, well, we need you next door. Then we got another class next door. And we need you to teach a songwriting class over there too. I said, oh, no, I'm done for the day. That's all I'm going to be doing. I think that I'm going to go home and have some lunch now myself, because I'm pretty tired. I'm not used to teaching songwriting to homeless children. And she said, no, really, we have to have you. You're here and you might as well do it. We've got a class next door. They're there. You're here. You might as well go. I said, are these homeless children too? She said, no, this class is our class of unpredictables. And I said, unpredictables? I said, what exactly does that mean? Unpredictable. She said, well, you know, they're unpredictable. I said, yeah, well, I just don't like the sound of it. She said, well, yes. Now, these children here are homeless, but these ones over here have kind of just rotated through the system, like their parents were in prison, and then they were in foster care, and then, of course, when they got old enough, we put them in juvenile hall, and when they got out of there, we'd send them to Campo or GRF, and then we kind of just rotate them around. We keep doing that with them until they turn 18, and then we just put them in adult prison. And because of that life, they've become unpredictable. Next thing I know, I'm standing in front of this class. There's no teacher at all. It's me and the unpredictables. It's all boys. They look like they are 35 years old. These are some wild-ass looking kids. They are scattered. They are disorganized. In the very far back of the corner, there is one girl. Leaning up against the wall, there's a very mean-looking boy. And he is just glaring at me. So I walked in, my usual routine. Hello, everybody. My name is TERESA Gunn. I'm a singer and a songwriter. I can write a song anywhere, anytime, about anything. The feeling that I got right then was a feeling of pure hatred. Real hatred. It was a combination of testosterone, real violence, and hatred. And the boy leaning up against the wall said, you can write a song about anything. I said, yes, I can. I'm a singer and a songwriter, and I can write a song about anything. He said, yeah, well, my father wears a lot of rings, and they land on me. He said, can you write a song about that? I said, well, I think I can. Tell me a little bit more about your father. He said, that bitch owes me money, man. I want it now. That drunk-ass motherfucker. He was okay when I was little. He used to drive up in his car and I'd be on my swing set. He'd swing me real high. He'd say he was going to swing me all the way up to the stars, but he left home when I was 8. My mom does the best she can. She works 3 jobs. He says, that bitch don't do shit for me. Write a song about that lady. I said, okay, all right, well, give me a minute here. Let me process this in my mind. It's going to take me a couple of seconds. Now, what you're telling me now is, you're telling me that your father used to be pretty good, but something happened when you were 8 that caused him to leave home. What was that? Drugs. All right? And you're confused because you hate the person that you love. You love your father, but you feel guilty because you hate him. You're disappointed in your father. You think he could have been a better man. You think he should have been a better man. You knew that you had a whole family at one time, and you don't have a family now. And you'd like to say something to him. And I think this is what you might say. My real dad, I hate my dad. Useless, worthless, deadbeat dad. Useless, worthless, deadbeat dad. He don't do dick for me. When I was a little boy, scared of the dark and that loud noise, the only hero that I had was my own useless drunk-ass dad. He'd drive up in his car and put me on a shooting star and say, hey son, I love you so. And I'll never let you go. Back then, I looked up to him, looked like he stood about 10'10". But that was then, and this is now. We ain't seen him in God knows how long. When I get to be a dad, I won't ever leave my boy. That punk owes me money, man. I want it now. My mom does the best she can by herself without a man. Even though he hurt us bad, I guess I'll always love my dad, my real dad. I hate my dad. Useless, worthless, deadbeat dad. Useless, worthless, deadbeat dad. He don't do dick for me. And when I finished that song, they just sat there and glared at me. But the girl in the back of the room, she stood up. She was all the way in the back. She stood up to her full height, and she was tall and statuesque, and she looked like a mixed race queen. She was beautiful, and she had great dignity, and she didn't even look at me. And she walked up to the front of the class and stood right next to me and looked at those boys. And she took out a piece of paper and she read it. My father says I'm useless. He ought to know. My father says I'm worthless. He ought to know. My father says I'm hopeless. He ought to know. I hear his footsteps echo in the corridors of juvenile hall. I hear his voice echo. I'm here to pick up my daughter. I hear his voice echo. Why can't you behave? I hear my own voice echo. Take a good look at me, Dad, 'cause I'm the bitch that you made. And those boys stood up and they applauded her. Then she sat in a chair and pulled the chair next to me. The boy, leaning against the wall, walked over to me. And he looked down at me and he said, I like your attitude. Then he pulled up a chair and sat down next to me. I said, all I want to know, everybody, is your story. We're going to write a song. Before I leave here today, we are going to have a song. Songs are just stories. You both just told a story. You all have a story. Everybody's got a story. Did anybody here ever see the movie Training Day? Yes. Yeah. Everybody had seen it. You know, the movie with Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. I asked the kids, what was that movie about? One of the boys said, that's not a movie, that's my life. I said, yeah, it's your life. I said, but when you live that life, you get a one-way ticket to Palookaville. When somebody else lives that life and writes it down and puts it into a book or a story or a screenplay or a painting or a drawing or a song, and they get somebody like Denzel Washington in on it, Denzel Washington gets $20 million in the Academy Award. That is the difference between living your story and making your story into art, which is what this class is about. Now, I want to hear your story. They started telling me their stories. Okay? There was Jaime. Jaime said, I'm in a gang. My mother's in a gang, my father's in a gang. People think being in a gang is a choice. It ain't a choice. It's a lifestyle. He said, I'm worried about my little brother. My little brother's about to get in a gang. There's no way to prevent it. We don't know what to do about it. Henry sat next to him. He said, yeah, my life is a lot like that. He said, my father was in a gang. Now we're all in gangs, and we're trying to prevent my little brother from being in a gang, but we don't know how to do it. Now my father is so whacked out on drugs, he spends all his time out on the streets. He comes into our backyard so fucked up we're scared of him. He knocks on the window when the police are after him, and we just hide from him. And they were all talking about these stories. And then Ernesto said, yeah, my mom always tells us, have faith in Jesus. Run to Jesus. Don't run away from Jesus. Give Jesus your burdens and he'll lift them off you. And I said, Mom, Jesus ain't done shit for our family. Our sisters in juvie, our dad's a lowlife, you're disabled, and the bills keep coming. But my mom believes anyway, and she tries to tell us to believe. I said, we got enough here for a story. This is a story. And Jaime said, yeah. And our story should have the sound of our neighborhood in it. And I said, well, what would that sound like? It would sound like dogs barking. It would sound like car alarms. It would sound like a police helicopter. Because we live in a war zone. And I said, okay, we got enough to work on. I said, give me a beat. And they started giving me a beat right there on the tables. Rob, can you give me some music? This is the song we wrote. This song is called Your Story. When I heard you tell your story in your glory, my friend, how I miss you when you leave me in the shadow of the war. I get lonely, my one and only, I love you only, my friend. outside my window, but I'm afraid to let him in. And I walk with the Prince of Darkness, but I got Jesus up above. He protects me when I go walking out in the shadow of your love. I feel so lonely, my one and only. I love you only, my friend. Somebody's knocking outside my window, but I'm afraid to let him in. Well, there are children getting older, little soldier for the cause. I put them in a pocket, find a rocket going on. Got a nickel, got a penny, got a quarter that I found as I tiptoe through the minefields of our city's battleground. And I walk with the Prince of Darkness, but I got Jesus, he's up above. He will protect me when I go walking out in the shadow of your love. I get so lonely, I'm young and lonely. I get so lonely, my friend. Somebody's knocking outside my window, but I'm afraid to let him in. And my mother says, run to Jesus, son, take it to Jesus. Tell Jesus your trouble. So I did. I say, yo, Jesus, yeah, you. If you're not too busy, man, I want to know why you ain't done shit for my family. My sister's in juvie. My father's a lowlife. My mother's disabled, and the bills keep coming. That was our song. So that night, when I finally got home to the Siesta Trailer Lodge in Imperial Beach, California, Juanita was still laying on the couch watching CNN. She said, how'd it go? I said, oh my God, Juanita, wasn't anything like I didn't expect it to be like that. She said, well, what was it like? I said, my God, I go in an opera to teach a songwriting workshop. Pretty soon I've got 200 homeless, unpredictable kids. I don't know what the hell is going on. They keep giving me more and more classes. And the first reaction these kids have to me is they want to kick my white ass. She said, well, what do you do when you go in there? I said, well, I introduce myself. I tell them my name is TERESA Gunn, and I'm a singer and a songwriter, and I can write a song anywhere, anytime, about anything. Juanita puts her cigarette down in the ashtray, sets down her bottle of Thunderbird. She said, Teresa, is that what you say when you go into the classroom? I said, yeah. She goes, you know, I feel like kicking your fucking ass myself. Who the fuck do you think you are? I'm TERESA Gunn. I'm a singer and a songwriter. I can write a song about anything, anywhere. Nobody gives a shit who you are. This isn't about you. It's about them. You need a format. I said, Juanita, you know, you're about the worst guardian angel anybody could ever have. You talk me into going down to 13th and Market. You get me into something way over my head, and then you have the guts to sit here and criticize me. What kind of angel are you? She said, I'm a purgatory angel. I'm not good enough to go to heaven. I'm not bad enough to go to hell. She said, angels like me get assigned to people like you. You need a format. You need to walk into that class knowing what the fuck you're doing. You need a beginning, a middle, an ending. So let's sit down here and write out a format. What do you want to know about these kids? Well, I guess I need to know their name and their age and their challenge and of course their dreams, their hopes and their dreams. Okay, that's the beginning. Name, age, challenge, dream. There you got a beginning. Now you need a middle part. What's the middle part? Well, I guess we have to have topics to write songs about. Well, what do you want to write about? Well, songwriters do things that are embarrassing for other people, but we seem to be pretty good at it. First of all, we sometimes write about God, but we do it in kind of a secret way, a tricky way, where people really don't know we're talking about God. So it's kind of like a power greater than yourself, you know. She said, well, just put that down. Something greater than themselves. Okay. What's another topic? I said, well, we need them to go inside like they did today. They were good at that. They were good at going inside and finding out what was going on in there. Shame. She said, shame. That's a good topic. Bring that shame out. Put it out. What else? I said, they have to know that when they write a song or a poem and they perform that in front of people, that is helping people. It helps the other people. She said, there you go. Now you need an ending. What could your ending be? And I said, I noticed that all these kids are in gangs, and they don't seem to really have anything against each other, but they do sit separately in their own groups. They don't touch each other. They don't get near each other. So I need to have a way that they can all touch each other just for a moment. And I said, I have an idea. One of the homeless girls today loved this class, and she wrote a poem about it, and she gave it to me when I was leaving. And the poem said, have patience, have faith, have trust, have discipline, and you can achieve anything you want. And Juanity said, that's it, that's your ending. You have them all hold hands in a circle and repeat that. You've got a format. You've got a beginning, a middle, and an end. And now you need a name for this class. A name. What can we call this class? I said, well, I ain't got nothing. I got a pocket full of dust. I got a pocket full of dreams. I said, but for me, having nothing has been the best thing I've ever had all my life because it's made me enormously resourceful and creative. I'm going to call the class Street of Dreams. So the next day, I showed up ready. And that day, they put me in the school with the teenage mothers. And I walked in expecting the worst. But this class was different. When I walked in there, it was tidy. It was orderly. These young ladies were beautiful. They were well behaved. They were doing their assignments. And the teachers were lovely. And they introduced me. This is TERESA Gunn. She's going to be teaching a class today. Her class is called Street of Dreams. And right then, a young lady walked right up and stood next to me. She held out her hand to shake my hand. She said, my name is Harmony. I'm going to be your assistant. And she immediately passed out pencils and papers. She organized the students for me. Then she sat next to me and asked how she could help me. And I explained the process, how I just needed to know what their hopes and dreams were, what their names were, their challenges. And they began to talk. And I said, today's topic is going to be the good deed. Let's think about something good that we've done to help other people. And they thought about it, and they wrote about it, and after a while, a couple of them raised their hands. And I said, yes. And that young lady, Alondra, she said, I did a good deed last week. And I said, what was it? She said, well, I live in a shelter with my baby, and one of the girls here in class, her brother was shot in the head in his front yard, and the whole class was going to the funeral, and I wanted to have something to give. And so on my way to school, I stopped at people's houses that I didn't even know, and I asked for donations so that I could give flowers. And then another girl raised her hand, and she said, I did a good deed. And I said, what was your good deed? And she said, my father is homeless. He's on drugs real bad. And we see him every Saturday huddled up on the corner. And I take him a quart of milk and sweetbread. And I sit and visit with him and talk with him. And I said, that is a good deed. And then Harmony said, I've done a good deed. And I said, what is that? And she said, I've made myself your assistant. And I said, that is a good deed. And the class was great. It was organized. It was lovely. The girls liked me, I liked them. And after the class was over, the teacher came over to me and she said, we need you to do something for us. And I said, what is that? She said, these kids never get out of here. She said, people are afraid of them, and they're afraid of people. We need you to organize a performance so we can bring in people to see them and see that there's nothing to be afraid of. These are just kids. And we need our kids to be able to speak freely in front of a real audience and show people what a hard time they've had and how hard they're trying. And I said, you know what? I am the right person for that job. That I know how to do. I know how to get a theater. I know how to assemble an audience. I know how to get an article in the paper. And I know how to put on a show.
That's right, girl.
And so we did that. In 12 weeks, we organized the homeless kids, the unpredictables, and the teenage mothers. We worked and worked and worked. And we wrote our poems, and we wrote our songs, and we got a theater, and it was a theater very much like this one. In fact, it was this theater. And we came down here after 12 weeks, and we assembled 20 chairs in a straight row. And we invited an audience just like you. In fact, it might have been you. And we came on the stage and we introduced ourselves and we said, welcome to Street of Dreams. We are the homeless, the unpredictables, and the teenage mothers. And we'd like you to hear our story. And one by one they got up. And they walked up to the microphone. There was Angel from the homeless school, and Angel said, my name is Angel. I'm 15. My challenge is to be educated. My dream is to become educated. And this is my poem. I crossed the desert 7 times. I was cold and I was hungry. I miss my mother. Someone found me and took me to St. Vincent's. And they got me into this school. I want to go back to Oaxaca, but I will not return until I can return an educated man. And then Pauline walked up. She said, my name is Pauline. I am 14. My challenge is being unloved. My dream is to be loved. And this is my poem. All white people have good jobs. I wish we were all the same. For a moment, I thought we were the same. We all have fingers and toes. If I had a mother, I would say to her, Mom, I just want to be myself. And she would say, God will lead you. God will show you the way. And I would have a mother who loved me. And she sat down. And then Fernando came up. And he stood, he said, my name is Fernando. I am 17. My challenge is walking through 7 different gang territories to get to school. My dream is to be free of the gang. Growing up behind bars, I can't remember what I did wrong. I don't like my mother to visit me. I don't like to see the tears in her eyes. My Jafita, the only girl I trust. I don't want to tell you my dreams. I have a right to my privacy. I keep them here, deep in my heart, where you can't see them. You can't take them away. Growing up behind bars, they told my mother, get him into sports. But we couldn't afford the uniform. We needed the money for food. I may be young, but I am still a man. And then Harmony came up. She said, my name is Harmony. My challenge is being released from Polinsky. My dream is to be a teacher for Street of Dreams. Street of Dreams taught me to use a method called word art. I am angry. I have something to be angry about. Street of Dreams said I could be angry on this stage if I do it publicly and positively in a poem and a song. And this is my song. This is my poem. I've had a lot of trouble in my life. Mommy on drugs, my father's not in my life. A teenage mother, I'm on my own. Me and my baby, we ain't got no home. But I still believe in a better life, a pretty house for my baby and me. Educated, safe, free, just like the Statue of Liberty. And then Street of Dreams showed us that if you take a poem like that and you put a melody behind it, it's a song. And I made this into a song, and it goes like this. This country's built on my mother's tears, every heartache of my father's years, the generations that try and fail, beat down, locked up, forgotten in jail. Bring me your wounded, your refugee. Bring me your broken-hearted people like me. Give me your children, give them to me. This country's built on a street of dreams. And that was the end of the show. And I went home that night, and I was exhausted. I walked into my trailer. Juanita's laying there on the couch watching CNN. She says, so how'd it go? I said, well, it went great. I said, those kids were wonderful. The audience loved them. The children were uncensored. They spoke about wonderful things. But Juanita, that's not the most amazing thing that happened. And I dare not tell anybody about this because nobody would believe me. I said, when the kids walked out on the stage, I saw with my own eyes legions of angels behind them, spirits. There were young soldiers from Vietnam. There were soldiers from Iraq. There were Native Americans in full war dress. There were grandmothers and mothers, and they stood behind the children like sentries, ancestors, guarding them. And I said, Juanita, Timmy was there. Timmy walked right up to me, and he sat down next to me, guarding me, and I knew he'd always been with me, that he'd never left, and that I was safe and forever safe. And I heard the ancestors and the angels chanting very low, and they were saying, we are the guards at the gates of vision. We are the guards at the gates of change. We are the guards at the gates of vision. We are the guards at the gates of change. And Juanita said, why do you look so sad? And I said, because it's not enough. It's not enough. Putting on a show and teaching people about telling stories and writing poems, it's not enough. And there's so many of them, Juanita. There's hundreds and hundreds, and they look at me like I have something to give them, and I don't have anything for them. Juanita put her cigarette down in the ashtray. She sat down with a bottle of Old English 800. She said, Teresa, what would you do if they were your own children? I said, I know exactly what I'd do. I would make goddamn sure they got a college education. I wouldn't quit. I would go down to that college, and I would enroll them, and I would get them counselors, and I would make sure that they got through college, because that's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that's going to make any difference. It's the only thing that's going to change their lives forever. Then that's what you have to do, Teresa. Me? I can't do that. I quit high school. I spent the last 30 years of my life singing in dark bars to drunk people, Juanita. You know that. You've been by my side the whole time. I see dead dogs, Juanita, for God's sake. I am not the person for the job, and besides that, I'm afraid of the people at college. Those are smart people, Juanita. I'm sure I'm gonna walk in there. She just stared at me the way she does when I know she's getting ready to do something. I said, I am not the person for the job. I don't want the job. I didn't ask for the job. I'm the wrong person for the job. Next thing I know, I'm sitting across from the president of City College. Not knowing my ass from a hole in the ground. Not knowing how the fuck to start the conversation. And I heard Juanita's voice. I hear her voice when she's not there. She says, just be yourself. Which is probably really bad advice, by the way. So the president of City College said, Teresa Gunn, nice to make your acquaintance. How can I help you? I said, well, I've got this songwriting workshop that I've been teaching for a bunch of kids who are homeless and unpredictable and teenage mothers. And I think that they're really nice kids, and they're very misunderstood. They do have really bad backgrounds in violence and drugs, and they are unpredictable, but I think that they're good, and I'd like to vouch for them, and I would like to teach a class for them here at City College, and I'd like to bring them to City College, and I'd like my class to be a college class. And he said, well, okay, let's talk about it for a second. Now, a terrible thing happens to me. Whenever I get around smart people, I start shaking uncontrollably. And I begin to sweat, and then I begin to clutch at my clothes. So you can see I was making a really good presentation. He goes, well, let me get a little information from you, okay? I said, all right. He said, education. Just knew he was going to start out with that. Oh, well, I don't really have a college degree. I never went to college. Actually, I'm afraid of colleges, and I don't like people that go to college. I have a strange reaction when I get around people that have attended college. I call them smart people, and I begin to sweat and shake. So anyway, no, I never went to college. Okay, well, that's all right. That's fine. A lot of people have it. Let's just go on to the next. Let's start with the basics. Computer experience. What is your experience with computers? Well, I don't like computers, and I never use them. I made a commitment to myself years ago that I would never learn to use a computer because I find them cold and impersonal, and there's way too much information on them, and I get really confused. And my neck starts hurting whenever I sit down to one, so anyway, no, I don't use a computer. That's okay. A lot of people don't use no computer. Well, okay, all right. Okay, let's just start all over again, Teresa. Experience. Now, you've been working with these kids for how long? 12 weeks. 12 weeks of experience. Okay. Well, certainly you have worked with children in the past. You must have some background working with juvenile delinquents. Perhaps you were a guard in a prison for some time or something. I said, no, I'm actually a rock and roll singer. I've been a singer for 30 years now. I've actually spent the last 30 years of my life singing in dark bars for drunk people, and that's how I make my living, and it's a living that I like, and I just played at the Plank last night, and maybe you'd like to come see me. I play on Friday nights, and then he was saying, shut up. So the president of the city college sat back in this chair, and he did a little writing, and he looked at me, he goes, no college degree, is that right? No, none, No computer experience, no, none. Experience, dark bars, drunk people. Yeah, that's about the extent of my experience. Then he leaned over and he looked at me right in the eye and he goes, could you use $30,000? I am prepared to offer you classroom space, a volunteer teaching staff, introduction to 2- and 4-year degree programs, introduction to financial aid. It sounds like your children might need some mental health services. We can throw that in too. A full tutor and mentor staff. How does that sound to you? I said, well, that sounds pretty darn good. Innovative person. We'll call this a pilot program. You bring those kids on here. We're going to see what we can do for you. We're going to give you enough rope to hang yourself. So I went home. I was feeling pretty darn cocky, I'll tell you. And I got into my trailer, and I sat out in my recliner. Juanita was laying there watching CNN, and I said, you're never going to believe what happened. She put her cigarette in the ashtray, set down her can of Rolling Rock, and I told her the whole story. I said, oh my God, Juanita, I was so scared. I felt ignorant. I felt so stupid. And while I was sitting there talking to the president of City College, all I could see was Captain and Melba Boyer saying, she's ignorant, her family's ignorant, their dog is ignorant, they're ignorant. And you know what, Juanita? I felt pretty damn ignorant. But when I walked out of there, I didn't feel ignorant. And Juanita said, Teresa, it's like I always tell you, it's amazing what can be done with a little bit of ignorance. That was 13 years ago. Today, Street of Dreams is a fully accredited high school to college bridge program for children who are at the highest risk of going to prison due to the generational effects of drug addiction, alcoholism, and poverty. The teenage mothers that we work with are in a school, and we are a small part of their success. And their success is this: 100% high school graduation, 100% college entry. But I still see her every now and then. Rob, are you going to give me some music? Go, Rob! Go on, Rob. You can do it.
Go, Rob.
There it is. Standing on the corner, that's the sound of the bus going by. There it is. I've been in the homeless schools, I've been with the unpredictables and the teenage mothers. Ow! The last time I saw Juanita LaRue, she was wrapped around a parking meter on Palm Avenue in Imperial Beach. She was sunbathing in her birthday suit. Bring a praise and recognition from the enthusiastic gang of military officers who had gathered about to cheer her on. 30 days county time, Las Colinas with a bullet. When I leave this place tonight, I'm heading south in the secret compartment of a red Carmengia with a nameless yet exotic welder from the shipyard. We're gonna go not quite to San Isidro, but just to Imperial Beach. We're gonna find a dark, respectable, residential neighborhood. And we're gonna write Juanita LaRue on 20 garage doors. Thank you for being such a nice audience.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All my bags are packed, ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door, and I hate to wake you up to say goodbye. But the dawn is breaking, it's early morning, and the taxi's wait is blowing his horn. Already, I'm so lonesome, I could cry. Kiss me, smile for me, tell me that you'll die for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Oh babe, I hate to go. I got a friend, girl that I know, who far away calls me by phone, sends me nice photographs. Her around the world, she tells me I'll be your hero, I'll be your best friend. Hell or high water, I'll be with you till the end. Don't let them bad times turn your smile to a frown. Please don't frown. You're much too brave. drink that poison. Numbs out the pain. Don't get so drunk that you don't hear the goddamn rain. Rain is a chorus, a secret code. Take you from dark and put you back in the light. She tells me I have been hungry, I have been lonely, I've been down, ain't down no more. Scared to my bones of darkness below, ain't gonna go down there no more. I want to welcome all my friends who crashed. He just lays on the floor. He tells me, leave me alone. I tell him, no. I tell him, laugh in the good times, cry in the bad times. When you don't know, you don't do nothing at all. Hold on to me, sweet prince. Hold on real tight. You're fixing to take a mighty big fall. I tell him, don't drink that poison. Numbs out pain. Don't get so drunk that you won't hear the goddamn rain, because the rain, it's a chorus, a secret code. Take you from dark and put you back in the light. I tell him, I've been hungry, I've been lonely, I've been down, ain't down no more. Scared to my bones of darkness below, ain't gonna go down there no more. Now the time has come to leave you one more time. Just let me kiss you, hold me light. You'll never let me go. Don't take that poison. It numbs out the pain. Don't get so drunk that you can't hear the goddamn rain, because the rain is a chorus, a secret code. Take you from dark and put you back in the light.